guys, on how it goes. So with the craze with dinosaurs back in the 90s, this is Prehysteria, a movie that came out straight to video, I believe, June 30th, 1993. And the story includes, well, a young kid discovers these 5 little miniature dinosaurs hatched from random eggs. How the heck does that work? I have no idea. So I love the title of this movie. It says they're the world's oldest party animals, Prehysteria. And you see, a young boy here with the Brachiosaurus, a Chasmosaurus, and a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which is pretty interesting. So the film opens up, as you see here, with the plain yellow text Prehysteria and this cool like Aztec, Mayan, or ancient civilization type of background with carvings in the back and carvings on the wall. You see some dinosaurs depicted there, like I see a Stegosaurus up there in the front, on the left-hand side, and then here are the eggs, which are stuck in this frozen chamber with light, which I find interesting. That how the heck do they get light in there? And I get it's supposed to be ancient and frozen and all stuff, but I'm not gonna lie, the icicles look kind of like rubbery, like something you can just play with. Like, it doesn't look dangerous at all. It looks really cool though. I do like the depiction of it. Now there's some artwork on the wall that depicts the history of the animals as well. This obviously it's supposed to be the Geosternbergia Pteranodon, but it looks more kind of like a weird giant peacock to me. But this entails each of the dinosaurs you're going to see. So there's the Geosternbergia, the Brachiosaurus, the Stegosaurus, and then below them as well is obviously the other two, which is the T-Rex and the Chasmosaurus. Which depiction of this creature right here, it looks more like a Triceratops, really, but there is no front horn, so I guess it could be. And I love how there's all spikes in the background, and there's a little table there of the eggs. So the story begins as well with, you meet the kids here. This kid here, he is obsessed with rock and roll and Elvis. As you can see, the 3 lovely Elvis posters. There's one on the wall and 2 on the ceiling. I don't get the picture of posters on the ceiling, but it's kind of cool. I mean, I had like an angled ceiling in one room I lived in that I put a poster on, but I guess it's the closest I've ever done. And apparently he's obsessed with dinosaurs as well. He has an older, annoying sister who they just yell at each other all the time. Like, I have siblings, and I don't understand how the heck these two just hate each other throughout the most of the movie. Like, I don't think the person who wrote it knew how siblings acted. Like, this was just kind of too much. But I mean, given the fact that there's just them and their dad, which there's his dad right here, which is a farmer and paleontologist, I believe. But you don't really know much about him other than he's just a lonely guy. Apparently the mother passed away 2 years ago, according to the title of the movie. They don't really tell you how she passed away, but the mother's not in the picture, just like every great 90s film. For some reason back then, they always had the same plot line. Convinces this kid to come down with him to brush off some fossils that he found just somewhere on the land. I don't know how the heck he's finding these fossils, where he's finding these fossils, but he's finding them to make extra money on the side to sell at a museum. Now, here's the museum you see. I don't know if this is just one section of the museum, maybe the gift shop, who knows, but this is very tiny. Now, this is all you see in the museum. It's pretty interesting. There are some cool artifacts back there, and I like how their dog is just behind the counter. The dog name is Ruby, by the way, and I love how the dog's behind the counter. Obviously, just setting the plot point. The kid wanders off. There's some fossils and some bones and such on the wall. Again, it looks like a little tiny shop. I don't know how this is a museum again. Maybe this is the entranceway. Maybe this is just a little antique museum place, but the dad's been coming there for about 6 to 8 months, I believe, and he has this really weird, awkward stare with this woman, sort of that she is a love interest, and they have this really weird, stare down where they're going to kiss in the middle of the store without ever having gone on dates, and it was weird. Again, I don't know what the writer was thinking. Maybe they pushed it forward, who knows. Here's the villain in the movie. The guy, he's they call him the, oh my goodness, I forgot. They keep saying he's an archaeologist, which I can't believe. Like, archaeology and paleontology, I guess, kind of go hand in hand. Depends on how much you study in each field. Maybe you have to know both. Who knows? But here's our villain, and he puts it on the cooler, and as you can see from the other photo we saw, the dog behind the counter with the family's cooler and this cooler. Gee, red Rubbermaid coolers. Pretty confusing back then, huh, for this poor dog. Now, I don't think the dog grabbed this cooler by accident, per se, because it just happened in the movie. And again, the movie came out, nearly 30 years ago, so there's no spoiler at all. I mean, just letting you know, go watch this movie. So the dog sniffs it. I'm assuming this dog, since she's a female, she probably sniffs the eggs, understanding, oh my goodness, this baby's motherly instinct kicks in as well, because you can see in the next scene right here, the dog brings the eggs home, the dog opens the cooler somehow, and then, places the egg on her bed. And that's kind of where the plot of the movie begins. Now, it takes a bit for you to see the actual dinosaurs in this film for quite a while, and I do appreciate the time they take. And yet, here's all the eggs. Obviously, they're different sizes. Meaning, there's the different creatures inside, obviously. And again, these are very, very small compared to most dinosaur eggs. At least for some of them, be the size. Now, I don't believe they explain how they're so tiny, and the first one you do see hatch out is my personal favorite. This is Elvis right here. He's the Tyrannosaurus Rex. He's adorable. Again, first one you see pop out, which is cool, and also he is the first one to get named by the kid. Now, the kid does come in the room to feed the dog. Somehow this dog's in this room with the door closed. I don't know why the heck the dog stays there. It's kind of weird. Notices the tiny creature. Instead of freaking out, he just goes, oh, there's little dinosaurs in this room. That's cool. No freak out whatsoever. Me, I wouldn't know what to do. I would be happy as a kid, but I still wouldn't know what the heck to do because I would think at least a couple of them are going to eat me. Now, again, Elvis gets his name first. He's adorable. He's this cool T-Rex. I love how they give like this little lip snarl. I don't know if it's on purpose or not. Maybe that's probably why, he's based on Elvis. Maybe they did that for a purpose. So I like this reddish-orange color to him. Looks really cool. I like him a lot. Then we have the female Brachiosaurus named Paula, named after Paula Abdul. If you can't get the theme, they're all named after famous music artist back at the time as well. And some of them are kind of odd choices. Like for me, this one's kind of odd. This is the Genosternbergia, also known as Pteranodons, most people are going to call it, but Genosternbergia with a head crest. Now that is a male head crest, but this is a female Genosternbergia, and her name is, get this, Madonna. The older sister calls her that. Funny enough, because the young kid calls his older sister Madonna in a couple scenes, which, okay, it kind of comes back to it. And the other two, kind of random. We have the Stegosaurus named Jagger after Mick Jagger from the Rolling Stones, and the Chasmosaurus as MC Hammer. So we have Jagger and Hammer. I kind of like it. Looks really cool. Hammer would make more sense if it was a Pachycephalosaur, but I love the picture that they give us a Chasmosaurus in here. You don't see it often. The animatronics and the models are all great. Some scenes look kind of weird, like this one. You can tell they kind of like, added this in later, like in post-production, like green screen or something for it to move on its own without having the handlers nearby, so it's pretty interesting. And I love this scene right here later on the film. They're in the garden area, the greenhouse of the house, and these two are playing tug-of-war with a dog toy. And it's kind of cute. Again, they just treat them like animals, and they just kind of depict them, they're just little babies. Again, they don't get that much bigger. But I was trying to look out for if there's any figures, any merchandise of this movie. I haven't found much online, honestly. Now, this person's collection right here, this is the replica models based off of the actual dinosaurs from the film, but these are plastic. They're going to last longer versus just, the rubber that they use for movies and animatronics. They all eventually wear off eventually. I do like these. Whoever created these is pretty clever. Again, I love the Prehysteria Blu-ray over there on the side. I have not had a copy of this myself. It is streaming on Peacock as far as I know to watch it. There are two more, but we'll get to that later. And just all the animatronics. These are really cool. I love the pictures of these. These are really awesome. I would like to find some models of these. Maybe not the same size, who knows, but I would like to repaint these as well. And here is the more behind-the-scenes photo of them, the animatronics on their little display stands here and there, probably to hide them enough so they can show them when they move back and forth. I like how you can see I believe the Genosternbergia is tucked back there in the corner. But I think these are really cool. These are really neat. Again, here's some photos you can look at. Now, this movie is really good. Again, it's a 90s movie. It's deemed as a monster family movie, which is interesting. It's kind of like a B movie in a sense, less horror, but more like on the goofy sci-fi side as well. But I will appreciate this being a movie that came out in the 90s amongst Jurassic Park and everything, because we get this awesome Chasmosaurus. I'm going to talk about him again. Now, everybody's going to think, oh, okay, cool, Triceratops. Well, no, we have a Chasmosaurus, which is pretty neat, because we didn't see any Chasmosaurus on any other media besides the Lost World Jurassic Park with this toy. Now, this is my model right here, or my figure right here that I took a picture of a few years ago. And this is pretty cool, and if you happen to have this, you could easily paint this green if you want to match the color of Hammer from Prehysteria, or there is a green variant as well of the same figure, which I cannot find online, but I will eventually get this one day. But yeah, again, I'm just kind of bummed out. There's no figures of this from this movie at all. Maybe it'll get rebranded. Who knows? Maybe an anniversary pop up. It is 30 years since this movie, so who knows? And then going back to Madonna, Genosternbergia, I really like they picked this random one versus just a random Pteranodon. They very specifically picked this certain depicted one out of all things. Now, again, if you want to make your own toy of this, you can get the Mattel Animal Collection Genosternbergia from the Lost World Jurassic Park. I don't know if it's still available or not. Check online. I have one of these. If I ever pick up a second one, I would like to repaint it just like Madonna. I think it would look really cool. But when I was doing some more research, I thought McDonald's had some. They also had toys, but these came out in 96 called Prehysteria. Now, I thought it was related to the movie. No, it just happened to have the same name. I do like the kids meal packaging and the toys right here as well. Here they are. Now you can pop them open, and then there's skeletons inside. It looks like they kind of glow in the dark too. I could be wrong, but I couldn't find much information on these other than this. But with Prehysteria, there are two other films, so there's three total. Technically, there's a fourth fan-made one, but I have not seen it anywhere. just a thing online. So yeah, here's 1, 2, and 3. We only just watched the first one recently. I have not seen this since I was a kid, so I wasn't too familiar with what the heck happened with it. I just watched it. Again, it kind of ends silly. Watch it for yourself. But in Germany, these movies are called Jurassic Kids. No joke. So I find it really interesting that all 3 of these films are called Jurassic Kids over in Germany. This is just pretty funny to me. I love the logo, so there you have it. Here's the second one. Again, they're all the same. Colors look a bit different, and this looks like this time they have name tags or collars or whatever, so you know which one's which, I guess. Again, I have not seen the second and the third one yet, so maybe we'll watch them later on, and I'll talk about them later, or just in general. Apparently this one involves golfing. I'm not too sure what the heck that's all about, but again, I just love the logo, Jurassic Kids 3. Again, this is a Germany name. Over here in America, it's called Prehysteria. Now, overall, again, it's a fun movie. There are some choice words in here that I don't think would have been good for kids back then, but I mean, it's odd. No, it's not a lot of swearing, not a lot of violence, a really lot of bad acting with the villains, though. So go give it a watch. It's on Peacock. With that being said, you guys take care and be excellent to each other.